The first quarter have now come back with 3:33 to play in the first half to take a 6-point lead. 44-38. Detroit puts the ball in bounds to Curtis Rowe. Here's Bob Lanier, and they've got to go to him to go to the basket. Lanier comes down low. Chris Ford fires some way out, and the rebound's taken down by George Johnson, and here comes Golden State running. Detroit gets 4 men back to shut off the break. Jamal Wilkes looks cross court, goes to Phil Smith, and he fires up and right through netting. Curtis Rowe couldn't get to him to block it.
Well, Golden State's really doing a good job of picking out the open man. Early in this ball game, Detroit was double teaming. They were having trouble. Now they're hitting everyone, and the shooting percentage has been very high here.
It got to go to Lanier. Now he has the ball, looking against Rick Barry. Goes back outside to Chris Ford, who's going to put it up. Ball tipped away, out of bounds. Last touch by Curtis Rowe of Detroit. And so Golden State will get the ball back, and they are now up by 8 points, 46-38. And Detroit needs baskets very badly here, Jerry.
They need baskets, Don, but what they really need more than anything are good shots. They haven't had very many good shots the last few times down the court.
Charles Dudley couldn't hold the ball. It comes back inbound to Detroit. George Trapp comes into the game, replacing Howard Porter. Trapp comes up to help break the press. George Trapp at 6'8", great speed as he starts to go to the basket. Lanier is almost a traffic cop out there now. He's just getting the ball in and out to different people. He hasn't gone to the basket in a long time. Eric Money shoots and gets a much-needed hoop for Detroit. And now Money steals the ball, puts it right back up again instead of passing off.
He had Chris Ford wide open on that particular play, and just a little bit aggressive play by him. Trying to get a little sighted. Hurt your ball club with that shot.
But one of the Pistons stepped it up the second time. The ball is saved inbounds by Jamal Wilkes. And Al Addle's up on his feet shouting, settle it down, work a play. 46-40. 1:55 to go in the first half. Golden State with the lead. Ball might have been partially tipped, but George Johnson gets the offensive boards at side court. Wilkes starts to drive. Now the ball is intercepted by George Trapp. Watch him at 6'8" move the ball. 4-on-3, down low, they throw the ball away.
Boy, those are the kind of plays that really hurt your ball club. They have come down the last 3 times, have not had a good shot when they've had Golden State's defense outnumbered badly, and you just can't do that against a team as good as Golden State.
Had the overmatch on the break, 4 against 2, but then as you saw, threw the ball away, and you certainly can't do that against the Golden State. Got to take every opportunity you get against this team. They're just so good. The loop pass goes down underneath to George Johnson, and George Johnson gets it turning around.
Here's Phil Smith posting on the smaller Archie Clark, jumps over him, misses a shot, but there's George Johnson with those long arms to tap it in.
4 points for George Johnson and a 48-40 lead for Golden State. 1:06 to play in the first half. At halftime, here's Lanier going to the basket and getting the hoop, and he was fouled on the play. That cuts the Golden State lead to 6. Bob Lanier now with 16 points.
Okay, here's Lanier with great position inside, and his body is so big that you just can't get up close to him. But I really feel that George Johnson, because he's not as strong as Lanier, would have a great deal of difficulty covering him down low if they could get him the ball there. But Golden State's defense has been so good, they put pressure on the ball, haven't allowed that pass inside in this second quarter.
They've really not been able to get the ball to him down low where Lanier likes to operate. Now he gets the 3-point play. Lanier has 17 points, and it's a 5-point game. I think you'll enjoy at halftime highlights of last year's 8 days in May, what they call it at Golden State, the sweep by the Warriors of the Washington Bullets for the NBA championship. You'll be seeing highlights of those 4 games of last year's NBA championship series at halftime here today. Right now we have 53 seconds to play in the first half. It is a 48-43 game as Phil Smith goes to the free throw line for the Golden State Warriors. Archie Clark is back in the game now for Detroit. Phil Smith gets the free throw. He has 17 points. $18 points for Phil Smith, 7-point advantage, and here is a whistle and a foul call. It's going to go against Golden State. Charles Dudley.
Okay, here's Charles Dudley trying to step out and anticipate the play, but you can see he really hadn't got himself set. Eric Money's going to go to the free throw line. That's the one thing I really feel that Detroit has to do. They have to get the ball down quickly before Golden State's defense gets set up, and if they do, they can get the ball into Bob Lanier easier. If they don't, they're going to have a hard time winning this ball game today.
Eric Money shooting for his 8th point. He gets it. And again, we have a 5-point spread in this game. Golden State with the lead. Charles Dudley on the drive. Swings the ball back out to George Johnson. To Jamal Wilkes. Down low to Dudley. Basket goes. Foul on the play.
Well, you've really got to give this Charles Dudley a lot of credit. Just moving around, keeping his body moving, and they pick him out underneath. Real quick move inside, and you can see Lanier hits him with the body, and the ball bounces around in the basket for him. I think Al Adams feels very confident having Charlie Dudley in the ball game. He likes the way he plays. He gives him great effort every night, and you can see that they've got a lead with him in this ball game.
Well, he was a low draft choice out of the University of Washington, as Al Adams said in summer training camp. He just kept sending other guys home. We had to keep him. He beat everybody out, got a job. Archie Clark gets it, draws a foul on the play with 32 seconds left. Let's watch it again.
Archie Clark with the line 2 to make one.
He gets a very soft bounce on that play. He's going to have a chance to make a 3-point play here, and this will be 3 of them. He makes this 3-point play. It'll be 3 of them we've seen in less than a minute.
Golden State over the foul limit, and so Archie Clark gets 2 chances to make the 3-point play. And again, it's a 5-point lead for the Golden State Warriors. 30 seconds to go in the first half. Don Criqui with Jerry West and Sonny Hill from Cobo Hall in Detroit. Barry starts to work down low. George Pratt very physical against him. Barry moving all over the court now as 4 other men kind of stationary. Now Smith starts to drive, gets the bounce pass from Rick Barry to Rick Barry. Smith tips it over to Jamal Wilkes. Looks like he had the trajectory, but it didn't go. 5 seconds, 3 seconds. George Pratt at the buzzer. Curtis Rowe. And the buzzer sounds, and the first half comes to an end with the Golden State Warriors in the lead, 53-48. (53-48) as we go into the third quarter now. Detroit will put the ball inbounds. Chris Ford will put it in. Oh, he's got to run to get it in there. That's a good play. You can run back and forth down the baseline of the court.
You can, except on the sideline once the official handles you the ball.
Sideline you can't.
You cannot.
Guys would be going up and down 94 feet if you did that.
You can only give you about a step and a half on that play.
Lanier, who had 17 points in the first half. Leading scorer was Phil Smith, Golden State. He had 18. Rowe has the ball tipped away, and Charles Johnson comes up with it for the Warriors. 53-48, Jerry.
Don, a big difference in this ball game. Curtis Rowe didn't score a point in the first half for Detroit. And if they're going to get back in this ball game or play this ball game tough, he's going to have to give them a little bit of offense. Lanier had a sensational first half, but they don't have much scoring from anyone else.
Rick Barry comes around the top, fires the lead pass out. Going down the baseline is Charles Johnson, and drops it in, and Golden State opens up a 55-48 lead. 11:10 left to go in the third quarter. Third quarter just underway as Chris Ford takes it down the lane. But the ball goes back the other way now. It's Phil Smith up courts the ball, and it's intercepted by Eric Money. He loses the ball, and Golden State will get it again.
Detroit just can't afford those turnovers. They made a crucial amount of turnovers in the second period, but Golden State did also. Not a lot of difference in the ball game, and that's the reason why we had a close first half.
5-point difference at the end of the first 2 quarters. Here is Rick Barry with the ball now for Golden State. Barry so far in this game has scored 13 points. Charles Johnson drops it off to Barry. Tipped up and in by Clifford Ray. Clifford Ray tipping the ball in. They give the Warriors a 9-point lead, their biggest advantage of the game.
Don, another thing's very important. You know, if Clifford Ray and their other center, George Johnson, were in the game as one man, they would have already fouled out because they have 6 fouls. One of the great things about this ball club, they have tremendous depth, and they just keep coming at you with fresh players all the time.
And Curtis Rowe, Jerry, just got his first points of the game, following up an offensive rebound. And they get 57-50. Rowe, who had 33 to lead the Pistons in Game 2 Thursday night at Oakland. Now his first 2 points today. Charles Johnson is left free. He comes right back down. He has 6 points. George Pratt takes it back the other way. Detroit's running better now in the third quarter as they did at the outset of the game.
Don, they'll get a lot better shots if they get the ball down quickly against this Golden State defense. Once they're set, they're really tough on defense.
A foul call from beneath the basket. A little bit earlier, Charles Johnson got free, and we'll watch how he does it.
Just anticipating the screen was Eric Money, and no communication again between the two defenders. And you'll have that a lot if you don't have guys talking to one another.
Phil Smith is left free, puts up the long-range jump shot. Rebound is tipped by George Trapp. And Clifford Ray came over the top to foul Trapp. That's 4 on Cliff Ray. 4 personal fouls.
What's going to happen now if Detroit is wise? I feel that they should take this ball inside, get it to Bob Lanier, try to get Clifford Ray out of the lineup and get George Johnson, but Al Attles is going to probably make a change anyway and bring George Johnson in.
George Trapp off the baseline of the court. George Trapp, who is from the Detroit area, now has 10 points, and the Pistons come back to within 5. We're early in the third quarter, 9:15 to play in it. Johnson again drives, feeds off on a bounce behind the back pass to Wilkes, and again he gets it right back to Johnson. And Johnson is really tough offensively as he puts up quick baskets in the third quarter. Now Eric Money throws the ball away. And Phil Smith wants to set it up. He waves players away, clear it out, and they move it out. Barry fires up against Bob Lanier. Too much on it. Rebound is down off the offensive board to Jamal Wilkes. Trapp takes the ball down. Up court to Eric Money. Detroit pushing the ball quickly up court. Curtis Rowe goes no foul on the play. A clean block by Rick Barry. Barry takes it right back the other way. He goes all the way down, and a foul-up shot by Clifford Ray is good.
Rick Barry made a great defensive move. Here we have it again. A good pass to Curtis Rowe. Barry comes from behind, blocks the shot cleanly.
We are ready to resume play now as Detroit will put the ball in bounds. Chris Ford will put it in play for the Pistons as Golden State is pressing the basketball in the backcourt. Now they drop off as the inbounds play goes to a forward, George Trapp. He calls the play. L.A. is the play. What's that, Jerry?
Well, what they're going to do is run a double stack down underneath, try to free someone, and they sure did free Eric Money, and he ends up taking a tougher shot than he had to begin with.
George Johnson down with the rebound. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Golden State Warriors in the lead and with the ball. George Johnson has come in for Clifford Ray, who has 4 personal fouls. Here is Phil Smith shut off as he tries to get by Trapp. And now Smith keeps the dribble alive and takes it. What a great play.
He's got that great ability when he goes up over the defender that he can hang in the air. Another thing he does so well is he jumps so well off the dribble that big men don't bother him on his jump shot.
George Trapp from way out. Rebound tipped around and comes down to the Golden State Warriors. Jamal Wilkes switching hands, weaves up court. Ford gets the ball from him. There'll be a jump ball.
Chris Ford's got a great pair of hands. He led the Pistons in steals this year, and he's always going to be around that basketball also, very much like Charles Dudley. Detroit's shot selection here in the last couple of minutes has been very questionable, Don. They're just not going to get back in this ball game unless they go to their big man inside Lanier. And then once Detroit's offense starts to move, I think Lanier can pass off, hit the open men, but Detroit's going to have to do something a little bit differently. Golden State's defense has gotten much tougher inside.
They blockade the lane. They don't give you anything inside. They've got to get it from the outside, and that's when Detroit's game fell apart in the second quarter. They're taking 4 shots from the deep outside. Barry brings it right back down. It won't go for him. Gets another shot at it. He gets it. Rick Barry with now puts up his 14th and 15th points of the game. It is 67-54. Ball tipped over to Howard Porter back in the game for Detroit. And Porter right off the bench, right on time. Down court to Rick Barry. He's bigger than Eric Money. Money fouled him.
Here shows you why Golden State's got back in this ball game. Barry missed the layup. No one there to block him out on the other side. Just moves into position to convert the shot. But Golden State's done a much better job on their boards than they did early in this ball game.
Archie Clark, who picked up the Detroit Pistons in the second quarter, comes back in. Golden State is annually the best rebounding team in the NBA, and they don't have one guy that gets 18. They get guys 9, 10. Everybody gets boards for them.
This ball club is a very intelligent team. They got a lot of players that know how to play basketball. Al Attles done a fine job putting this team together. And they play as a unit. And when you play as a unit, you're rebounded as a unit. You just don't depend on one man. And they've done this tremendously all through the last 2 seasons.
Bill Smith comes in, gives the ball to Johnson. Here's Rick Barry against Al Eberhard. Berry has trouble with holding the ball as Eberhard hawks him. Berry now guns the pass cross court to Phil Smith. Boy, he can play.
He can play and he can really shoot. But Rick Berry is a man who made that play all possible. Rick Berry leads his team in assists. He's their big leader, and they look for him to make the pass and also make the big plays.
Phil Smith, Jerry, now has 22 points for Golden State. It is a 69-56 game as Chris Ford puts it up. Rebound tapped out to Howard Porter. Very poor percentage shooting by the Detroit Pistons, but Ford hustles to the ball. They'll get a third shot at it. Got to go to Lanier. Lanier is standing there without the basketball, and guys with a third his ability are throwing up bad shots.
There's no question that to get the ball into Bob Lanier, you have to shoot a little bit from outside, but they're overdoing it. There's no question that these shots have not had a chance to go in. They're not good percentage shots, and particularly, as you mentioned, Don, from the people that's been taking.
Well, the Golden State Warriors have opened up their biggest lead in this game. They're now up by 13, 69-56. 5:58 to go in the third quarter. We have a timeout. That's how it stands here at Detroit. 69-56. Golden State is in the lead and with the ball. An aggressive team game has put the Warriors from 10 points down right on top of this game. They were up by 5, and now they lead by 15. Archie Clark will run the offense. They didn't have much success with Eric Money earlier in the third quarter. Lanier gets the ball, and 3 guys go right on him. They know where it's at. Hit them right where they live. Guard Lanier, and you stop their offense.
We not only stop their offense, but I think the one thing that you do, Bob Lanier has had great success going to the basket when they missed a shot from outside. Now they've got 3 guys around him. They're blocking him off the boards. They're keeping him completely away, and Golden State's superior quickness has got him this big lead.
Howard Porter was one of the great college players in a long time when he was at Villanova. Drafted number 1 by the Chicago Bulls. Has come off the bench here today to get points for the Detroit Pistons. He has scored 7 so far. 5:25 to go in the third quarter. Berry, very aggressive and a lot of motion in his offensive game as he goes down low to George Johnson.
Don, that's 3 straight baskets that he's assisted on. Even though the other guys have scored, he's been the recipient of getting a pass from a Rick Berry.
John Mengelt, the Auburn linebacker, puts his head down and heads for the hoop, and there's a foul on the play as the shot was also blocked.
Here's that last particular play. Notice a great pass by Rick Berry, but George Johnson makes a very difficult shot on that particular play. But Berry does that better than anyone in basketball.
George Johnson, standing to the upper right of your screen, is 6'11". He was out of basketball and was working as a bank guard in the San Francisco area. Imagine that guy, 6'11". Done up with a gun and a hat.
He went to Dillard College or University. I really don't know where Dillard is, to be frank.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Been a very good asset to this ball club.
4 years on the Dean's list. Here is Rick Berry. Looks for the brand breaking. It is Phil Smith coming off the baseline of the court, and George Johnson takes a swat at it and knocks it right in. It's all going right for Golden State.
Everything they're doing is right now, but I really feel that the reason they've got this big lead is because they played such good team defense. They kept, look at Bob Lanier. Every time he gets it, there's 2 or 3 guys around him. They forced him completely outside now.
They'll let him have the outside shot. They won't give him a thing inside now. Archie Clark has helped the Pistons a lot. He has scored 9. And it's a 75-61 game, Golden State. Dudley against Mengel, hands off to Berry. 5 men on the move in the Golden State offense. That's been the difference. 5 men moving, the 4 without the ball. Somebody's got to get open, and they have. Back and forth across the lane. Watch this team play again as Berry takes it down. Lead pass. And down to George Johnson for the hoop. And so it is a 77-61 game with 4:11 to play in the third quarter. Detroit has been outscored this quarter 24-13. Bill Smith has hit 6 points in the third quarter. And the Johnson boys, George and Charles, no relation, have 6 each also. For Golden State. Now Lanier is going to pop it up from the outside. At least he's getting a shot off. Golden State has really taken him out of the game at the end of the floor.
Well, what really hurts is that once you move Bob Lanier that far from the basket, you have that lack of offensive rebounding in it that he's done so well early in this ball game.
Golden State using the clock, using a team offensive game. The ball goes down low to Dwight Davis, and he is fouled on the play.
Foul on number 54.
Third personal foul on Howard Porter. And so the penalty now goes in effect for Golden State, and Davis goes to the free throw line.
Another example of Golden State's great depth. Dwight Davis was a starter at Cleveland. They got him in a trade for Butch Beard. Butch Beard's no longer with Cleveland now, and Golden State's got another fine basketball player. But they have so many good players coming off this bench that they just have to hurt you sooner or later.
Plus, there's a great team attitude. Everybody knows they're going to get in the game. Everybody works that much harder. The whole league is really going to that. More and more team play.
Well, you have to have depth to win in this league, Don. And here we have a good example. Detroit, everyone's surrounding Bob Lanier inside and finally get a pretty good shot.
Curtis Rowe with only his third and fourth points of this game. The man who had 33. It's been said of Curtis Rowe by his former UCLA coach John Wooden, he never had a bad game. The people started to wonder if he was ever going to have an outstanding one. But he certainly did his best game as a pro Thursday night. He's a very consistent guy. Gets you between 16 and 20 points, 9 to 15 rebounds every time out. As Jamal Wilkes comes back in the game for Golden State. Archie Clark hustles the ball up court against Charles Dudley. Here is Curtis Rowe against Jamal Wilkes. One-on-one, they clear the side, and there's a foul call on Wilkes. Wilkes gets his second.
You know, at this point in this ball game, Detroit's going to be very careful they don't get completely out of the game. They're going to have to move their bodies instead of so much with the dribble. They've dribbled the ball much too much. Golden State here again taking advantage of it.
And Phil Smith beats Archie. Wow. 6'4". He can go up. Again, the turnover is forced, and here come the Warriors on the run. This time they lose it. It'll come back inside. Watch 6'4" Phil Smith set it down off the run.
Great thing about Phil Smith, now you can get an idea why his jump shot is so tough to stop. Tremendous leaping ability for a guy his size.
He is right from the city of San Francisco. Played high school basketball there, went to USF. And now the Golden State Warriors. Lanier to Eric Money. He gets points down the lane. And it is an 80-65 game. 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Smith looking to go to the basket again. There's the jump shot you were talking about, Jerry. He didn't get it in, but he did draw the foul.
Well, in this particular case, just simply one-on-one, and he overpowers Eric Money because Eric Money is simply smaller than him. Phil Smith, a great ball handler, great shooter. He has it all, and he's also very young.
And he now has 26 points, Phil Smith. Bob Lanier with 17 is the high man for Detroit, but he's not scored in the third quarter.
I think you can see what's happened to Detroit's team. Look at all those blue jerseys around him. There's one of the few times they've gotten a good shot away.
Well, and there's 3 guys in Lanier. There's got to be 2 guys open somewhere, but they're not finding them. Here comes Lanier to the basket. They double right up on him again. He goes outside to Archie Clark, in and out. Jamal Wilkes down with the rebound. Here comes Rick Barry. Shut off on the flank by Eberhard. A long lead pass, and it was last touched by Rick Barry. It looked like Clark had a piece of the ball. He did not, so the Pistons will put it in play.
In that particular play, if Rick would have looked up just a little bit sooner, Phil Smith was wide open, but it looked like he was holding the ball just a little bit too long in that particular play.
Here's Lanier, gets the shot. He'll get that all day for him. He's got to get in the ball, and Lanier's got to move a lot more to either side of the lane.
Well, they need him to move around a little bit more, but they also need someone to get him the ball. It's not really his fault that he's not getting the ball. You have to have some man to get the ball to you.
And again, the Warriors come right back down, get an easy bucket as Dudley slips in the back door. Lanier now has 19 points, but those were his first 2 of the second half. And they came with 1:50 to play in the third quarter. Curtis Rowe took a whack in the eye from Rick Barry accidentally. So we have an official injury timeout.
That's one of those plays when a guy starts to drive, everyone's smacking at the ball. Rick Barry was trying to deflect it, hit Curtis across the face, but he looked like he's okay.
Curtis Rowe from Fremont High School in Los Angeles has turned out so many great athletes, played on the 3 UCLA championship teams.
The man, John Wooden, has turned out a lot of great basketball players. It'd be nice to see what an all-UCLA team could do in the NBA.
Enough guys in the league from there.
They could have 2 teams almost.
1:33 to go in the third quarter as Curtis Rowe goes to the free throw line. He was the #1 draft choice of the Detroit Pistons the same year that Abdul-Jabbar went to Milwaukee and Sidney Wicks went to Portland. Actually, Jabbar came out earlier.
That's correct.
Wicks and Rowe came out the same year.
To show you Golden State's great depth, they've got 2 new guards in the lineup. They're taking the man out of the ball game and scored 28 points. Bring in 2 guards that are very fine guards in their own right. Gus Williams, an outstanding rookie, and Charles Dudley, who helped the Golden State get that big lead in the first half.
Al Eberhard out-hustles Rick Barry to the basketball. Gets it over to Eric Money, and Archie Clark takes the shot. And Eberhard really works. And then they call country on a farm in Iowa. Al Eberhard out of the University of Missouri, a former #1 draft choice, worked to get the ball, worked to get it to somebody open, then tipped in the missed shot.
Those are the little things that good basketball teams seem to do.
Barry outfights everybody to the ball. Eberhard knocks it away. And Dudley comes up with the ball for Golden State. Gus Williams in the game. Back to Charles Dudley. 84-71. Golden State in the lead as Jamal Wilkes rims the hoop. Down on the rebound is Archie Clark at 6'1". Long lead pass to Curtis Rowe. Now, with 30 seconds to go in the third quarter, Cobo Hall comes alive as the Detroit Pistons start to get some offense generated.
That one little play that Al Eberhard made down there has really seemed to inspire this ball club at this point.
Barry puts it up. Curtis Rowe takes down the rebound. Detroit, a regenerated ball club now. Moving the ball quickly up court. Eric Money feeds off to Lanier. And there's a foul call against Golden State.
Don, this is the first time I've seen these Detroit players have almost anything to get excited about for a long time. Okay, here's Eric Money. Lays the ball off to Bob Lanier, and Charles Dudley hits him pretty good there. And Lanier's going to go to the free throw line as the Warriors are in the penalty.
Herb Brown up and calling out that there are 3 seconds left to his team. Now shut off the flanks, don't let him get the ball down court. Lanier drops in his 20th point of the game. He had 12 in the first quarter, 17 in the first half. 3 seconds to go on the third quarter, and Lanier can bring the Pistons back to within 9 as we head into the final 12 minutes. Detroit pressing the ball. And Gus Williams throws up a prayer at the buzzer. Got at the distance, but not at the target. So the third quarter comes to an end as the Golden State Warriors see their lead cut now to 9 points at the end of the third quarter. Look at Eberhard earlier. Gets the ball. Now watch Eberhard follow the play. Clark misses the jump shot. Eberhard taps it in. That's what you win with. Live action here at Detroit as we open the fourth quarter. The Golden State Warriors having to break a press to get the ball up court. Detroit rallying back from way down, 15 points down to trail by 9. Eberhard gets the steal. Here comes Eric Money leading the break. Goes to Curtis Rowe. And a foul is called on the Warriors. What do we have going here now? Some question about the clock, I think, with Darryl Garrettson. He's looking up at the clock, goes over to the official score and timer.
The backcourt foul in that particular play. I thought that they'd called a foul in that play, Don, but no one heard it. Gus Williams fouled Eric Money in the backcourt. Okay, here's a good play by Eberhard. Anticipating a pass from Dudley. Steps inside the defender.
So a backcourt foul is indeed ruled, and going to the free throw line is Eric Money.
No, it was one of Eberhard. Eberhard, when he intercepted the pass, Don, stepped in front of the defender. He grabbed him there, and there was so much noise when he made the play, I don't think anyone heard it, not even the players.
Money was standing at the free throw line. They sent him away and brought in Eberhard. I wanted to sneak him. Apparently Eberhard doesn't have that great touch from 15 feet. Not bad. Backcourt foul is on Gus Williams. We got a ball game. The match is on now. It's 84-77 and a load of time remaining. 11:40 to go. Very enthusiastic, sold-out arena. Coming alive. Gus Williams spins around, goes to Dwight Davis. It's been really unusual how the tempo of this game has turned around. Jamal Wilkes out-hustles everybody to the ball as the 24-second clock recycles, and Golden State sets it up again.
Well, I think what you have to notice about Golden State is so good. They don't get excited. They come down, set up their offense each time, and they're going to try to get a good shot instead of taking the quick shot.
Dwight Davis was traveling with the ball, and so it comes back over now to Detroit. Rick Barry comes back in the game for the Golden State Warriors. Rick Barry has scored 15 points. High man is Phil Smith with 28. Archie Clark and Eric Money working in the backcourt. Clark jitterbugging against Dwight Davis. Curtis Rowe turns it around. Rebound to Lanier. He'll go right back up. Blocked by George Johnson, and the ball is tipped out. And Eberhard and Dwight Davis are ready to square off.
Okay, Lanier, here's a play. He's blocked by George Johnson. Looked like Eberhard was hit across the face with an elbow that was not intentionally thrown.
Dudley on the drive. Whips the ball over to Dwight Davis. Too much on it. And the loose ball is picked up by Eric Money. Here come the Pistons on the run. 4 men back for Golden State on the left flank. It goes to Archie Clark. He is knocked down by Dwight Davis. Basket didn't go, but there's a 2-shot foul on the play.
I'll tell you, Detroit's right back in this ball game, and going into the last quarter in your home court, you've got this tremendous crowd here roaring for you. Could really help this ball club.
Archie Clark, the 11-year veteran from the University of Minnesota, at the free throw line. (84-79), a 5-point difference as Clark now has 11. And Golden State, leading by 15, is now up by just 5. Down low to Phil Smith, turns it around and gets the shot, and there's a foul on the play. Basket is disallowed. Apparently the foul came prior to the shot.
They're going to probably try to go to Phil Smith a little bit inside. He's got a tremendous size advantage on Archie Clark, and they'll try to run him in deep, I feel, with a good offensive pattern.
Here is Rick Barry down the lane, two-handing it underneath, up and good. And Barry has now scored 17 points. And Golden State opens up a 7-point lead. Clark right down the baseline of the court. Reverse shot. Goaltend. Good call. There's no question the ball was on the way down.
You know, if George Johnson hadn't touched that particular shot, I don't think it would have gone in anyway. Here's Archie turning the corner, using the basket for protection on the other side. That shot would not have gone anyway.
That wouldn't even have hit the rim, but it was on the way down. It was touched. Now as Dudley drives, we have a foul call against Detroit. Eric Money draws the personal foul, his third.
Don, if you notice, when Detroit's got back in this ball game, Al Eberhard has made 2 good defensive plays, and it's really got this ball club going.
Phil Smith takes it down, gets his own rebound, and Eberhard had the ball, took it away from him. Eberhard's done the big job, and here comes Eric Money. Eric Money's not been able to get the shot, but he gets the ball right back and puts it up with the left hand. It's a 3-point game as Eric Money comes back down the floor. Here is Eberhard. Earlier taking the ball away. Golden State down by 16 points in the third quarter. Has now rallied back to take a 4-point lead, 94-90. Curtis Rowe putting the shot up. And whoa, who is that? Porter or Lanier, Jerry West?
What a play by Howard Porter. He had a great ball game so far.
19 points for Porter. That makes it a 2-point game again. Seen some spectacular plays all night long. 5:55 to go as we start down the stretch. Golden State with a win here will end the series. And Derek Dickey now hits the shot to make it a 96-92 game. The Warriors by 4. Phil Smith with 35 points for Golden State, leading all scorers. Bob Lanier has scored 24 for Detroit. Mengel hits. Again, it's a 2-point game. 96-94 Golden State. Bill Smith, nobody's been able to touch him all night. Just firing away, hitting from all over the floor. That time missed it all. Lanier takes it, looks for the outlet. And Detroit forces the ball quickly down court. Mengel, who was an Auburn linebacker in addition to an SEC Player of the Year in basketball, drives down the lane and he crashes to the floor, and the whistle blows.
John Mengel gives 100% every minute on the floor.
Gus Williams got the personal foul.
Pass inside from Eric Money, and watch this ball he takes.
He loves it.
He better believe he loves it. His nickname is Crash.
Went to Auburn because they let him play football as a linebacker in basketball. So Crash Mengel is right up, bounces up like a greyhound with 5:14 to go, and he is heading for the free throw line. A little bit of that, spray a little of that hurt no more on it.
We talked about that hurt no more. It still hurts. The good thing about it for the Pistons now is Golden State is now in a penalty situation. It gives Detroit a lot of chances. They can take the ball inside, rebound real well. They could stay in this ball game with good free throw shooting. But the one danger for them is not get caught up in a running game with this Golden State ball club.
The Celtics have taken command of their game at Boston. They are up by 13 points in the fourth quarter. If they win, they would go up 3-2 with Game 6 coming up Sunday afternoon at Buffalo. John Mengel to the free throw line. Doesn't get the first one. Got to try again now. He could have tied this game up if he hit them both. Lanier has not scored here in the fourth quarter. He had only 4 points in the third quarter. Mengel, in fairness to him, should be pointed out, banged his right hand that he shoots with when he fell that time. Missed both free throws. 2-point game, 96-94. Phil Smith right to the hoop, takes it right through. Rick Barry against Porter, all the way across court to Derek Dickey. And the Golden State Warriors again open up the 4-point lead.
It's their great bench again, contributing an awful lot. Gus Williams, Dudley, Derek Dickey, George Johnson, everyone.
George Johnson just fouled Bob Lanier. He'll shoot 2 free throws. But watch Lanier go to the basket again. They have to get offense from him, Detroit does.
A good penetration move by John Mengel. And again, anytime you can break inside this Golden State defense, which is tough enough to do, you're going to find some men open either underneath or on the wings. And Detroit needs to try to do that a little bit more, particularly when they're in this penalty situation.
Golden State took the lead here in the fourth quarter, for the first time since the first quarter of the game. This is Don Criqui with Jerry West at Detroit. The Pistons needing this win to stay alive in the playoffs. A team that got here with a 10-game under 500 regular season record, 36-46. A lot of people forget they won 11 of their last 12 regular season games, then knocked off Milwaukee in the playoffs, and now have beaten the defending NBA champion Warriors twice in this series, but have to win tonight to stay alive. Barry goes to the hoop, dips it up like his free throw, and Golden State again takes a 4-point lead, 100-96. We have 4 minutes and 15 seconds left to go. Rick Barry has scored 13 points, missed much of the third quarter, has 4 personal fouls, now a 5th, which he got in the third quarter, and 4 at the half. Lanier goes to Eric Money, looking inside. He's been a dancer all night, going right into that lane, but can't get the shot. Lanier is there, followed up. 2-point game again, 198. 3:55 to go. 28 points for Bob Lanier. Gus Williams with that spectacular 7 for 9 shooting in the third quarter when he scored 14 points off the bench. Goes to Barry. Rick Barry fires away, and he gets it. And again, the Warriors extend their lead to 4.
When Golden State needs 2 buckets, Rick Barry's responded. Even though he hasn't shot well in this playoff, they know where their key man is. They go to him in those situations.
Howard Porter puts it up. Lanier taps it cross court, and Chris Ford out of Villanova out-hustles everybody to the ball. With the ball is Curtis Rowe. This is wild. This is great. 102-100.
Great hustle by the Detroit Pistons to keep that ball alive. Little plays like that can win a game, particularly this close.
The crowd is absolutely on fire here in Detroit. 11,000 just up and screaming the whole game long. Down the lane, a great drive by Gus Williams, could not get it to go. 2 minutes and 55 seconds left to go. Detroit with a hoop here would tie the game again. 2:50 to go, heading down the stretch at Detroit. Pistons having to win to stay alive in the series. They trail 3-2. Lanier out high. George Johnson against him. Chris Ford, bounce lead, pass to Money. Oh, the roll goes in the home court for Eric Money and Detroit.
Detroit is bringing Bob Lanier out high to set a lot of screens, and they're trying to work stuff down low, and Eric Money has been the recipient of many good plays underneath the basket.
We now have 2:20 to go in the game. Chris Ford stole the ball. And he stepped out of bounds when he did so. And so the ball is back over to the Warriors. Golden State will get the ball back inbounds from beneath their basket. 2:20 to go, and the game is tied 102-102. The Celtics now with an 88-77 lead over Buffalo in the fourth quarter. Here is Clifford Ray. Going out of the coming into the game, replacing George Johnson. 2:20 left to go. What's Detroit have to do here, Jerry West?
Detroit has to prevent Golden State from getting a good shot here and come down and try to get the ball to Big Bob Lanier and see what he can do with it.
Go to your ace. Williams way high up to take the inbounds pass. Works off a pick set by Derek Dickey. Curtis Rowe stays with Williams. Williams driving, rebound, slapped out. Berry takes it. Screening the ball with his body. What do we got here? Foul call goes against Detroit. And Berry, who is just about automatic at the free throw line, goes to the free throw line. Fifth foul on Chris Ford on that play.
Here's Gus Williams cutting inside. Again, Detroit not filling in real well. Bob Lanier got a piece of the ball. Rick Berry there for the play. He cuts inside the defense. Chris Ford hits him. Berry's going to go to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Berry breaks the tie with a free throw. He can give Golden State a 2-point advantage. 2 minutes and 9 seconds left to play in the game. Could go longer than that, though. This could very well be an overtime game, 104-102. Golden State is in the lead. The defending NBA champions would advance to the Western Finals. Boston continues to lead the Buffalo Braves by 11 points at Boston Garden. Lanier down to Chris Ford. Lanier spins off low. Ford passes off to Howard Porter. Berry goes for the ball. Porter gets the shot away. Howard Porter now ties the game at 104. 21 points for Howard Porter. The ball will come back inbounds to Detroit. And before that happens, there's going to be a timeout called by Golden State and a personal foul signal. 104-104. Eric Money called for his 4th personal foul. And a penalty shot is now in effect for the Golden State Warriors, and Gus Williams goes to the line. He can break the tie with the free throws here.
Don, those are the kind of fouls you don't want to make. You just don't want to put a player on the foul line in a situation like this. Make him shoot the ball. Make him beat you from over the top, but don't put him up there on a cheap situation.
Gus Williams, a rookie out of Southern California, did not play till the 3rd quarter. And then he hit 7 of 9 shots, 14 points. He now has 15, 1:37 left to go in the game. 1:37 left. And now Golden State has a 2-point lead, 106-104. Eric Money, 21 years old, directing the Detroit offense from the back line. Goes to Curtis Rowe, who comes out as Lanier comes out way high. Clifford Ray right with him. Touching. You can touch, but you can't impede, says the rule book. Here is a pass to Howard Porter. Berry all over him. And Porter sticks it in anywhere to tie the game. You could put a bag over Howard Porter's head tonight, he'd stick it in the hole.
Howard Porter, a very fine shooter, Don. He's done this all through his career. Probably the thing that's hurt him most has been his defensive play, but he's turned into a good ball player here in Detroit.
I'll say he has. Rick Berry firing long. Rick Berry breaks the tie with a minute to go, 108-106. Berry now has 19. A 2-point lead, and now we have a whistle underneath. And it's just a warning, admonition for Al Attles, the Golden State coach, who's having a whole lot of trouble staying in his seat, and you can't blame him. He's up and down the sideline.
I don't think he's been in his seat this whole ball game, but he's right in every game.
Gus Williams steals the ball. Money takes it back. What do we have here? Back to Detroit. No foul.
Richie Powers, one of the better officials in the NBA, right on top of that play. But Gus Williams, with great anticipation, steps inside the dribble of Eric Money. Looked like he had a layup, but the great speed of Eric Money caught him.
So Detroit will have the ball inbounds. We're going to have a timeout before they do. They're going to try to get this act together and get things in order. We have 46 seconds left to go. It is 108-106. The Golden State Warriors in the lead. The top point man in the game is Phil Smith. Has not scored for a while, but still has hit a spectacular 35 points for the Golden State Warriors. Berry has 19. Wilkes has 14. Gus Williams with 16 points coming off the bench till the third quarter. And Lanier has 28 for Detroit. Porter has 21. Curtis Rowe with 12. George Trapp with 10. And let us tell you about the Houston Open. And you'll see tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. The $200,000 Houston Open with tournament standouts like Raymond Floyd, Ben Crenshaw, and Hubie Green going for a $40,000 first prize. That's tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. The Celtics have opened up a 13-point lead. They've pretty well put that game away down the stretch at Boston, 93-80. Boston in the lead over Buffalo, so the Celtics will take a 3-2 lead into Game 6 Sunday afternoon at Buffalo. A game you'll see at 12:30 Eastern Time on CBS. Immediately followed by either the 7th game of this series or Phoenix at Golden State, depending on the outcome here tonight. You'll definitely see doubleheader game with the defending champion Warriors at home on Sunday. Jerry?
Don, this has been one of the best basketball games I've seen in a long time. Both teams have displayed a tremendous amount of enthusiasm. The play has been good. It's been a little bit ragged at certain times on Detroit's part. But this ball game, it's one of those games it's a shame that anyone has to lose.
Really has been. In the first half, Detroit shot 59%. Golden State shot 57%. Then they came out in the third quarter and really got hot. Curtis Rowe with the ball. Detroit down by 2. Here's the big man Lanier with the ball. Puts it up off glass and ties the game. Lanier with that deft touch. So adroit with the ball. At 6'11", 255 pounds. He has 30. 31 seconds to go. Williams looks for Berry. Rick Berry moving on Porter. What do we have? Foul call against Detroit. That's a nervous whistle. Official right on top of the play.
Boy, those are the tough plays to call by an official. Rick Berry starts his drive for the basket.
I got a feeling this thing's a long way from over. 26 seconds to go. Game tied 108-108. Here's Charles Dudley coming off the bench. Golden State won an NBA title using 11 players last year. Do the same thing this year. Everybody gets to play.
The reason of bringing Charles Dudley in, Don, is for defensive purposes. Big free throw by Rick Berry, the league's leading free throw shooter during the regular season.
26 seconds left to go. Rick Berry at the free throw line. A 91% free throw shooter gets them both. And Golden State, with Rick Berry scoring 11 points in the fourth quarter, has taken a 2-point lead, and Detroit takes a timeout. 26 seconds could be the difference between the end of Detroit's season and advancing, depending on what they do now. 110-108. Golden State up with 26 seconds to... Detroit coach Herb Brown calls his team the Dirty Dozen. Archie Clark comes over, looks at Jerry West, shakes his head like, man, we've been here before, haven't we?
Archie Clark has been here a few times before. This is a tough time for everyone to handle the basketball.
26 seconds to go, 24 seconds to go. Curtis Rowe. 24 seconds left in the game, and Golden State leads by 2. Lanier takes it inside. Foul on the play. The follow-up shot by Curtis Rowe was disallowed. There was a foul on Lanier. Against Lanier, he'll go to the free throw line before Curtis Rowe's follow-up shot. Derek Dickey gets the personal foul. That's a good foul. You got to take that foul.
Was a good foul. Lanier really had a great chance to make a 3-point play in here. Ball just rolls off the other side of the rim, and of course Curtis Rowe tapped it in, but Lanier has 3 chances to make 2.
Whoa, what's a nervous free throw, but he gets it.
Don, a lot of players, you can hear their pants shake in this situation, but I don't think you'll see that happen to Bob Lanier.
Yes, the big guy dips it down. He gets them both, so we are tied up again. 110-110, 18 seconds to go. And now Al Attles and the Warriors get the ball and call a timeout. They got a lot of time to set up a shot.
Actually, they've got a lot of time for the Pistons to get a shot also.
The Golden State Warriors with the ball when we resume play break their timeout with head coach Al Attles. 18 seconds shows on the game clock. They were down by 8 at the end of the third quarter, had not led in this game since early in the game until the fourth quarter, and now they have it tied up 110-110. There's the final in from Boston Garden. The Celtics prevailing over the Buffalo Braves to go up 3-2. 110 to 110. 18 seconds to go. Golden State with a win here ends this series and goes on to the Western Finals against Phoenix. But Golden State will get the last shot at it. Who do they go to, Jerry?
They may not get the last shot. 18 seconds is a long time, but I'm sure Golden State will try to play this for one shot.
Phil Smith has the ball and 35 points in his hip pocket. 110 to 110, 7 seconds. They're looking to draw a foul. Inside to Derek Dickey, blocked by Lanier. We go into overtime. Overtime. We go into overtime. You ought to see him here in Detroit. New Year's Eve, BJJ, they got it all going. Up and down.
Big Bob Lanier, key player throughout this ball game, makes one great defensive play, comes back with another great defensive play. This guy's had some ball game.
Yeah, that was 2 brilliant blocks, and you got to credit Golden State with a great play. They had the open man set right up. Dickey had the ball. It was only his heroics of Bob Lanier that saved the day for Detroit.
That's one of those plays, Don, that when you take the ball back to the defensive man again, you're probably going to end up with a worse shot. Derek Dickey had a pretty good short jump shot, but he wanted to try to make the stuff, and Lanier was there to block it.
Jerry West, I know you have, I think would be interesting to the viewers, a philosophy on overtime games. You don't feel that teams are drained at the end of regulation. You feel they're so worked up, they're ready to keep going.
Don, I don't feel at all they're drained. All these guys are ready to play.
This is Don Criqui with Jerry West back at Cobo Hall in Detroit. We are going into overtime in this 6th game of the Golden State-Detroit series. 110 to 110 at the end of regulation on consecutive block shots by Bob Lanier that stopped Derek Dickey from winning the game for Golden State. And now as the Pistons come out, a standing ovation. Thunder rolling down from the high reaches of Cobo Hall. Lanier has blocked 5 shots in this game, the former All-American from St. Bonaventure.
Don, you're talking about people being tired. When you get an ovation like that, no one's going to be tired.
Yeah, it's inspiring to sit here and listen to all that. These fans have been unbelievable, just like they'll be at Golden State if it goes to a 7th game Sunday. Chris Ford with the ball, moves it out over high across the top of the key. Here's Archie Clark, baseline drive, up and in. Archie Clark breaks the tie. 112 to 110. A lot of times in overtime, you'll see a club put a game away early in that 5-minute overtime session. Keith Wilkes, Jamal Wilkes gets the ball to Phil Smith. Ford's done a good job against him in the 4th quarter. Barry sets the pick. Smith moving with the ball, picked up by Eberhard. Back out to Clifford Ray. He's always looking to hand off. Smith fires away 20 feet out and ties the game. He's got 37.
Well, he was very quiet about the last 4 minutes of the 4th quarter, but you just can't keep a player like him from scoring.
Now Curtis Rowe has the ball for Detroit. Lanier is out to the right side of the lane, gets the ball, moving against Clifford Ray. They double up on the ball. Phil Smith is against him also. Ford on the drive to Archie Clark, free from 20. In and out and rebound, nicely taken down by Jamal Wilkes. So quietly, so efficiently, always with position off the defensive board. Jamal Wilkes gets the ball back. Curtis Rowe, the other UCLA All-American on the floor against him. And Wilkes takes it right around and puts it up. Tapped up and in by Clifford Ray. And Golden State takes the lead, 114 to 112.
Bob Lanier was trying to help out, and he got caught with no weak side help on the inside. They can't allow that to happen in a 5-minute overtime.
We now have 3 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the overtime. Lanier with the ball, turns, spins, not enough pay, in and out, and Barry takes down the defensive board. And the Warriors calmly put it in play up court. Long pass to Jamal Wilkes. Looks up, fires up, puts it up by 4. The Warriors with a 116-112 lead. Now Detroit's crowd again comes alive as the Pistons come down court. Clark takes it all the way down, doesn't get it. And the rebound is out of bounds off of Golden State's Clifford Ray. Inbound to Detroit.
Now Detroit has to be very careful. There's a lot of time left in this ball game, and they don't need one player to go down on his own and try to get him right back in it immediately. There's plenty of time left. They've got to get good shots and take care of the ball.
It was tied at 110 at the end of regulation. We're now in overtime, 2:54 to play in the overtime. 116 to 112, Golden State in the lead. Curtis Rowe does an unorthodox but also effective jump shot. Sets it down, and it's now a 2-point Golden State. 116 to 114. Phil Smith moving the ball up court, brings it over the midcourt line. Chris Ford is against him. Smith with 35 points, 37 points now. He scored in the overtime. Rick Barry looking to move on Porter. Barry takes it all the way down. Blocked by Lanier. His sixth block shot. Fights for the loose ball. Barry gets it. Rebound to Howard Porter. Sky hooking the ball down. And Archie Clark surveys the field. Quick to penetrate if there's an open lane. Bounce pass goes to Howard Porter. Here is Curtis Rowe shooting on Barry. Missed it all. Rebound comes down, and there is a foul call. Chris Ford got it. He's got to sit down. That's Chris Ford's sixth personal foul. He played a big game while he was in there, scored only 4 points, but he played a lot of basketball for Detroit all over the floor.
Well, he's had a very tough defensive assignment also, Phil Smith. If Herb Brown comes back in with Eric Money, he and Archie Clark are going to have a decided height disadvantage against the Golden State guards. They've got two big guards in there, in Phil Smith and Gus Williams. I would look for Golden State to probably try to post inside with Phil Smith.
Just 2:11 left to go now. 2-point lead for Golden State, and they'll inbound the ball. Phil Smith and rookie Gus Williams working in the back line. Clifford Ray, Rick Barry, and Jamal Wilkes are up front. For Detroit, Eric Money. He's matched against Williams. Archie Clark against Smith, who has the ball. Up front for Detroit, Lanier, Rowe, and Howard Porter. Down they go. A fight for the ball. We're going to have a jump ball. A jump ball between Gus Williams and Eric Money. Williams at 6'2" can stuff two hands without a running start, so with a 2-inch height advantage and that leaping ability, he has got the advantage in the jump, which he controls easily. Goes to Jamal Wilkes. Golden State with the ball, winding the clock down. 1:50 left to go in overtime. A 2-point game. Golden State is in the lead. Smith against Lanier. Stops. Lanier got a piece of the ball. But Jamal Wilkes picks it up and puts it right off glass. Always there, always in that great position, Jamal Wilkes. The man they call Silk because he's smooth as. Gliding in and out, down low on the court. And it's a 4-point lead for Golden State. Porter loses Barry with a fake and gets it. I don't know what his percentages are, but they're awful nice.
Howard Porter's had a great ball game. Every time Bob Lanier gets caught outside, it seems like that the Pistons rebounding breaks down. We're going to have to fill in better away from the ball.
25 points for Howard Porter, 118 to 116. Golden State with a 2-point lead. 1:15 left to go in overtime. Jamal Wilkes starts down the baseline. He is hit by Curtis Rowe, who, believe it or not, while playing almost this entire game, has picked up his first personal foul.
Curtis Rowe has been in foul problem in a couple of the other ball games. It's really hurt the Pistons. A man they need in there. They'll have a very steadying influence on their team.
Phil Smith brings the ball inbounds to Williams. They go back to Smith, a 6'4" guard out of San Francisco. Jump lead pass to Rick Barry, driving to the basket. Here is a whistle. The ball turned over, 3-second violation. Clifford Ray, the big center for the Golden State Warriors, was set down inside too long in the lane. And so Detroit gets the ball, trailing by 2, 1:05 to play. The Pistons can tie it again with a hoop here now. Eric Money dribbling cautiously, looking down underneath. Lanier standing to the right of the lane. That's who they want to go to. Money goes to Porter. Lanier cutting across the lane. Ray blocks him out. It's almost like a football game inside. Put up, slammed off glass, and the rebound is down to Phil Smith of Golden State with 45 seconds to play. Clifford Ray and Bob Lanier fighting each other inside for position, and now Ed Adles and the Golden State Warriors want a timeout. They lead by 2, 118 to 116, with 40 seconds left to play in the game. 40 seconds to go in overtime. Golden State by 2. 40 seconds left to go in overtime as Bob Lanier, who has been the key man for the Detroit Pistons, on the bench talking to his head coach Herb Brown, listening as Brown plots a strategy. Lanier so far in the game has scored 32 points. He has led the Pistons in rebounding. Howard Porter is scored 25, George Trapp 10, Eric Money 16. For Golden State, Phil Smith has 37 points, had 35 in regulation. Rick Barry has hit 21. Lots of points, 11 in the fourth quarter, to bring Golden State back into the lead. Clifford Ray with 9. Gus Williams had 16, 14 in the third quarter. It's been a wild game. 5-point leads for both clubs in the first quarter. Second quarter, Detroit got running, blew it wide open. Opened up a 59-43 lead, a 16-point advantage, but led by only 1 at the end of the first half.
Not about this time in the ball game. There's some very tired bodies, but I think more importantly, some very tired minds out there. It's been a tremendously emotional ball game.
Rather, Detroit was up by 1 at the end of the first quarter. Phil Smith drives. He's called for traveling. 34 seconds left to go in the game. In overtime. And Detroit is calling another timeout. I think we got an all-nighter going here, Jerry.
We might break the record for most overtime.
This is the first overtime, but as you see the score, and Detroit with possession of the ball, we could very well have another.
Well,
you don't know in this game.
You better believe this ball game has gone back and forth, particularly in the last few minutes of regulation time and also in the overtime.
You've seen some bizarre things happen in games down there. What was that game you had at L.A.? You were up by what? Seconds remaining?
I saw a Laker team ahead by 7 with about 16 seconds left to go and lose the ball game.
In regulation?
No, in overtime. They actually also had the ball.
They were up by 7 and had the ball with 16 seconds to go.
Were tied in regulation time, losing overtime.
It's hard to do.
It's hard to do, but we did it.
34 seconds left to go. 118-116. The Golden State Warriors, who last year during that 8-day span in the month of May swept the Washington Bullets 4 straight games for the NBA championship, now are in tough against a team nobody really expected would go anywhere in the playoffs. Detroit finishing 10 games under 500 in the regular season, 36-46. People forget they won 11 of their last 12. And they beat Milwaukee 2 out of 3 in the playoffs. Came into this series tied up. Golden State 2 victories apiece. The Warriors won on their home floor decisively, 128-107 Wednesday night. And now in Game 6 tonight at Detroit, it is 118-116 Golden State in overtime. Richie Powers is going to give the ball to Archie Clark, who will put it back in play. A 10-year veteran out of Minnesota, Archie Clark, will inbound the ball for the Detroit Pistons. Curtis Rowe comes out high. The ball is handed off to him. Jamal Wilkes against him. Curtis Rowe working it down with a dribble, takes it inside. No goaltend. The ball is down. Clean block is ruled by Clifford Ray. 22 seconds left to go. Golden State playing it cautiously. Down low to Rick Barry. Takes it in, puts it up. Blocked by Curtis Rowe, but Detroit has the ball. Lanier takes it. What do we got here?
They want another timeout.
Timeout. Detroit has the ball with 9 seconds to go. This is unbelievable.
And there's one shot that Rick Barry probably wishes he hadn't taken. They didn't have to shoot this shot. Howard Porter makes a great block on this play. Lanier goes and retrieves the ball.
He was forced out of bounds. Looked like he might have been. 9 seconds left to go in overtime. At the end of regulation, it was 110-110. It is now 118-116. Jerry, you call the game.
Well, Don, Detroit must get a quick shot, because if they don't make the shot, they have to try to rebound it and make a rebound basket. Another thing in Golden State favor is that they can foul in a situation like this and also run some time off the clock that way. So unless Golden State commits a stupid foul, they should probably maybe let the Pistons handle the ball a little bit, foul them, take it out of bounds again, see what happens. Make them handle the ball in this situation.
Now you've got another very important factor in this game. You've got one of the great inside men in basketball in Lanier, who can put the ball in the hoop even when he is fouled. So conceivably, Detroit could get the three-point play and win this thing. But right now, Golden State has a 2-point lead, 118-116. 9 seconds to go. Al Attles up and pacing, checks the clock as Archie Clark gets set to put the ball in play. Lanier gets it out high. Right back to Archie Clark. Lanier goes down low, and a foul is signaled quickly on Gus Williams. A good foul. Don't give him the shot. Give him the foul. Gus Williams with just his second foul. And the Warriors still under the limit. Will inbound the ball. Detroit will. There's no shooting foul here. Wisely done by the Golden State Warriors. Trap goes out. Eric Money comes in, along with Curtis Rowe, Howard Porter. And here is the loop pass to Bob Lanier. He saves the ball. Time almost out. Money puts it up. Tapped up. Tapped up. Here is the horn. The season is over for Detroit. And Golden State wins in overtime, 118 to 116. Dramatic game here at Detroit. A great effort by the Pistons, but the defending champions of the NBA. The Golden State Warriors prevail at the end, winning in overtime, 118 to 116. Now for Jerry West, this is Don Criqui saying goodbye from Cobo Arena in Detroit with the final score. The Warriors 118, the Pistons 116.